Check out BallerCam. It's an AI-powered device that enables your smartphone.
Whoa, just a little bit too keen. Only for iPhones at the moment. Potential for other phones later. Only for iPhones at the moment. Let's continue.
To capture real-life football. You know, soccer, the world's sport. That's what this is about. It adds a wide lens, a fan, an extra battery, and is programmed with over 2 million. Yes, million games, so the ball tracking should be superb. This is the main unit. So we have our wide lens here, which we'll talk about the specs later on. We've got a fan here, mounts on your tripod here, battery plugs in here, phone slots in the back. This is the case that you put your phone into. I got a 15 Pro Max at the moment, but you can order this to suit your phone. So when you order it, make sure you tell them what phone you've got or what phone you're gonna have. They all have these strips you get to satisfyingly tear off. Here's the Baller TV battery. It's even MagSafe. So you can slap your phone on the back of it and it will power your phone. Charging my phone already, but it also tells you how full it is here, 72%. Has USB-C and USB and a little cable like this, which means you can plug it in here and plug it straight into your phone if you need to do that too. They're thinking really broadly. I simply pull this cable out of here. There's another little treat of a cable in there. That will make sense later on, I'm sure. Then picking up the main unit, we push in here and watch what happens. A trapdoor opens. We can pull that out. We can slot the battery in like so. We can lock it all in and then we can plug in the USB-C right there. And as you do, it hums to life, and this is a braided cable. So it's good for when it has to bend. Braided cables break less easily. So that's humming away. Oof. There's the inner workings of it. There are lots of instructions, but if you know me, I'm keen for a bit of an experiment before I'm for a bit of instruction. All right, we're gonna take our phone. I reckon I can just lock it into there. Oh, it feels good, actually. It clicks in, and that ain't moving. Oh, I'm excited. Come around here, and I think I will just clip this in at this end, and then, wowzers! It's heavy, but it feels good. And you got your unit. That is really quite substantial. Screen is facing out, obviously. I'm sure there's an app that will download from Baller TV and get this really cooking. There's a couple more treats in the box though. Makes a lot of noise. Not that that matters on a football field. It's a screen cover. Very satisfying. Oh, this is cool. Like, this is my hunch. Ready? Magnetic on top. And it fits down like this. This is magnetic too. So I've just got to find where it fits down here. So there's a faint magnetic strip with the idea that it falls down, but it doesn't sit against your phone. Can you see the gap? Can you see me through the gap? There's a gap. It doesn't even touch your screen, but it's a screen protector. So you can actually then put this on and go to a game and you're ready to go with this. There's still more treats. And this is the shade. Ooh, look at that. Oh, the shade goes on top to stop the sun creating those, on iPhones especially, it creates, when you're shooting into the sun, you get these horrific like lines, and it just takes away all the definition and all the light, and this is built to stop that, and you can probably put it that way or wherever the sun is facing. Oh, it's clever, isn't it? I've got a game of football that I actually need to get to because I coach some lads playing footy. And so we're going to go and do that. I'm going to set this up and give it a run, and then we'll talk about it and I'll show you exactly how it works. The mounting device you use is an interesting choice. It needs to be between 12 and 15 feet in the air. So what normally would happen is you put a monopod on top of a tripod, or you'd mount it to a structure. Today I just want to show you at this level how it all works, but Baller TV have this mounting point that you can buy, has a 3/8 there, and you can set that at 15 degrees, which 15 degrees is probably about that. You sort of want a slight tilt. It would be super handy if there was just a marking here where you knew that's at 15 degrees, or if there was a height to degree ratio. So if you had it at 10 feet, you need it at this, and if you had it at 15 feet, you'd need it at this setting. That would just be a great little addition, but this is a super little bull head and real tight and stiff, so that's not going to budge anywhere. You're going to get no shake. That's really important that you don't get any shake. Yesterday when I filmed, my son kicked the soccer ball and I saved it here. It was a brilliant save. Got a cheer from the crowd, but oh my gosh, you've got to be careful. Best place to set this up is about 2 meters away from the center line in the middle of the field, if you have the opportunity and the choice to do that. You have this power cord and you have a lightning one or a USB-C. You plug that into the battery and you can plug that straight into your phone, because it will use up a bit of juice on your phone.
The cover's actually really smart. It's heat resistant, so it covers over your phone when your phone's in and filming through BallerCam, protecting your phone from overheating, especially if the sun's belting down on your device. Just covers it over nicely. Simply magnetic attachment at the top.
Then you pull your phone out of its cover, simply place it and slot it in, and it locks in nice and firmly. Then you can power it from the battery. So that's being powered. On the flip side, I like to connect the tripod so that it covers the battery bay as well, and you would make sure that's done up nice and tight. And then I'm going to place it on here. It's a quick release plate, so no stress. There. We have our Baller TV set up, and you can carry it around like this and then just plug in your phone at the last minute if you like. Then the cool thing to do is, you can see it's a sunny day, and if we have too much sun glare across the lens, it will break that down. This is a 180 degree lens, so it films all the way out here, and it does all the internal tracking through here, being programmed by, well, 2 million football games. But what you do need to recognize is this is programmed to work on a full size pitch. I didn't use it on a full-size pitch, and so we'll see what the results of that are, because they're fascinating. Here are the lads playing, and you will notice it a little bit blurry. That's intentional because my boys are underage, so you can't identify their faces. But look at the way that tracks and the movement of the pitch. Now here's an overlay of the parameters the camera automatically picked up, and the reason that's a little bit different than what you might expect is because the soccer pitch we're playing on is a smaller soccer pitch. It's not a standard one. So a lot of the calibration for the BallerCam is set up to a much larger pitch. So if you're using a standard soccer pitch, football pitch, a standard basketball court or volleyball court, then it will just swing in no problems at all. You just have to make sure that you mount the camera about 10 to 12 feet in the air at a 15 or so degree angle, about 8 feet from the sideline. Those parameters are really important because it locks in with how it's used to be setting up, and I did that with a tripod and a monopod. It was really quite a high setup, and so you might want to stand near it in case a ball comes flying at it. Now we move to the BallerCam sunshade, and you can screw it directly on there if you wish, or they have this cool little accessory here. You screw that in there, and then you can actually set that to any way you want depending on where the sun is. And just make sure you see how the shadow is blocking. That's what you want to do. So we might go, oh, that's a bit awkward, but it does the trick because the camera's only going to shoot down here. It's not going to shoot up there. It's going to stay out of the sun. All right, now let's have a look at the app. This is where I can invite people to watch or to be part of the app and be part of the team. So I might want to invite all the parents to become part of the team. I can edit my profile, put a photo in there, your other indicators up the top there. So I can schedule my new game, and when I schedule my new game, let's say we're going to go for next Friday at 11:19 a.m. and I go save. Then that means the match is scheduled, but it won't start automatically. So it will be scheduled so you can go straight in. You've already set up all the details about it, and then you can film from there. And then if I go this little button here, I can go copy, and I have a URL that I can then use and send to people so they can watch the game. Then I can go to the film option just here, and I can choose, do I live stream and record? So it records to my phone as well as to a live screen, just record, or the schedule what I was talking about before. So if we go live stream and record, you then have to confirm this iPhone is the Baller case. So there's a few things that you need to make sure. It just runs you through making sure you've got all the things set up that you want to have set up, just verifying all your details. Then once you've done all that, you want to press record, you want to mount it, and then you want to set it up and set and forget.
And it's at this point I would then suggest, if you have to then put it up in the air, that you would do that with a monopod onto your tripod, so it'll be way up in the air. When you finish, you press stop. It says end recording or cancel, because you might have pressed it by accident. You go end recording, finishing up the game, and then it gives you a countdown for how long it takes, and then you're ready to watch the game. I scroll across, I can watch the replay if I like. The score was 0-all. It will give you a prompt as to what the score was, and in future ideations of the app, it will take care of the scoring for you. You do want to make sure that there's no smudges on your lens at all, because that can distort both the AI tracking and the quality. So just make sure you give it a nice little cloth polish before the game. It also has a battery level indicator, and we put this on yesterday at 100%. The game was a 40-minute game with a bit of a break in between, and it ran down about 45% to give you a bit of a feel.
I've used it in a game that had 45-minute halves with a 10-minute break in between, and I just have my battery on my phone charged to 100% on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it took the battery of the phone all the way down to 15% while it was still going, and didn't even need to use the backup battery because I didn't plug it in.
Just make sure your phone is fully charged and also has enough space to hold the video recording of it.
Now I want to show you the adult game that I took, and you can really see the quality, and we'll just let it play for a little while so that you can have a look at it and have a think about if it suits your needs. There was a couple of times in the game, especially with a long ball kick, that the tracking kind of failed, or when there was a very fast passage of play from one end of the pitch to the other, the tracker really struggled. I perhaps would have liked to see a little bit more zoom in occasion. And when I spoke to the guys at BallerCam and they looked at my footage, they said, yeah, this particular expression and particular video didn't seem to be on par with what they've been experiencing. Which allows me to think that it could probably be a bit better than this, but it's probably not how I have it in my mind, where it's like Premier League experience and the zoom in and the slow-mo and all the rest of that. I was actually really quite impressed by it. It allows for really good viewing, and I think the framing, even though it uses that lens and you think, how is it going to do this? The framing that it does and the zoom in, the movement and the tracking is actually really, really impressive. You do have to mount it really high, which is a challenge, but not an impossible challenge, and depends on what constructions or poles or tripod etc you have. So just know there may be an additional cost there to actually mounting it, but if you own a soccer field or you're looking after a soccer field, you could have a setup where you either pull it out or you just plug in the camera, and it really suits the needs you have, and it films every major game that you have on that field. The fact that it saves it online and anyone can download and access it with the right secure links online means it's really accessible. We had a few people watching this live, and their experience of it was really good. It does pick up audio, but obviously you're just going to hear some voices in the distance because they're a long way away from the actual phone. Now, I did want to comment on the price because it's a fascinating setup they're using. It's like a subscription model. So basically they send you the camera and all the bits and pieces that you need, and then you pay $29 a month to use the machine and access to the machine and storage in each plan. Once you've been a subscriber for 12 months, you actually own the piece of equipment. But I would just be careful that you're probably buying this for the future. You're not sort of buying it, see how it goes, and selling it, because it would be a difficult thing to sell because of the subscription model. So you can pay yearly or monthly. You obviously save more if you pay yearly. And here are your other plans, so you can have a look at basically what you get. So Pro Plan Plus is $299 a year. These are US prices. You can have 25 hours filmed and a total of 250 hours of storage. That's 25 hours a month. So if you're looking at playing soccer, that might be say 14 games a month. If you have more games a month or unlimited games a month, you can really use this. So this might actually be an amazing, if you in a soccer club or your child plays multiple games a week, or you play multiple sports, so you play some basketball and some volleyball, you could really get your money's worth from this. A wonderful training tool, and also an excellent avenue for other parents and family who can't be at the game to really join in on the action.
Now finally, when this is up high and shooting, your phone's tied up there. So you may want to have another phone, somebody else's phone, that you log into the same app with. You link it to this so that you can actually control the scoring and see how it's going and a variety of other things while it's up there. Because often when it's up there, you can't reach and touch it. You just press go and you're away. Well, what do you think? Is this for you? Any questions that I can have an attempt at answering? There are a number of these sort of products coming onto the market. I've been really impressed with BallerCam's offering, and it chooses to use a really wide lens and zoom in rather than move the whole time. It does need to be up high, but I think you get a better finish result as the AI tracking really kicks in. Love to know what you think. You've seen the real-time footage and how it's gone on this video. Nothing's been doctored or moved or changed. So you tell me what you think. Thanks BallerCam for partnering with me on this as you reach into your international market. So I'm in Australia, they're in the US, but they've reached out to me and they're trying to expand their reach and their use of BallerCam. So, well, would you use it? What would you use it for? Let me know. Thanks for sending it BallerCam. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.